Hello my dear friends, and welcome back to another video. Ahsoka Season 1 might be over, but today we have a range of updates and a big piece of news for Season 2. You're not going to want to miss it, so stay tuned, but let's start with a bit of fun, a few tidbits. Did you know the howler that Sabine rides on Peridia now has a name? It's called Tota, which is the word she uses to tame it, but that is also its name. We also have a name for Sabine's loft cat, Merle. And oh boy, is Merle gonna miss Sabine. And so another little tidbit, we have a new look at Zeb from The Mandalorian Season 3. And it just gives us another perspective, another couple of different angles on his costume. It's worth keeping in mind, even though he didn't appear in Ahsoka, he's probably going to be a big part of Filoni's film. And so now, onto the big piece of news. We're going to look ahead to what's next. Because if Part 8 taught us anything, it's that this is a new beginning, or a starting point for the next stage of Dave Filoni and Jon Favreau's overarching Mandalorian story. Some have likened Ahsoka Season 1 to an opening crawl. It's essentially the setup for what's to come. And in the pipeline, we know for sure Skeleton Crew is next year. We'll talk about this more in just a moment. The Mandalorian's 4th season, which should drop in 2025 according to MakingStarWars.net, and Dave Filoni has his movie, which I don't think is going to be for another few years, given they're trying to get the Rey film out first, which is unrelated as it takes place much further down the timeline. Now I should reiterate, I'm just focusing on the Mandoverse. What about more seasons of Ahsoka? Or are they going to continue the same story and the stories of the characters we've come to know and love in those other projects? Well, it's been mere speculation until today, because we have some pretty huge news. Deadline have now stated that Lucasfilm is in the planning stage for a second season of this show. They do make it clear though nothing is confirmed, but it does come after Lucasfilm themselves changed the wording on Disney+. Originally talking about Part 8, they wrote series finale and they changed it to season finale. A great sign. And let's be real, that was always going to happen. Given the popularity of this series, The Mandalorian generally, and the characters in the first season, we've spoken so much about Baylan and Shin, not to mention Grand Admiral Thrawn, as well as the way a broader, wider-ranging narrative is being established. And I think it's worth considering that in-universe as well, we're quite a while away from Dave's movie, plot-wise. There's going to be more battles to come between the New Republic and the Remnant, more stories and activity from our main characters both in the known galaxy and Peridia. The stories in the Disney Plus shows that lead to the film are far from being done. A lot of setup still needs to occur, and there is one show going under the radar which I believe Ahsoka gave us some context for, Skeleton Crew, believed to be releasing in 2024. And that's the one about the kids who go on a Goonies-like adventure, who get lost in space and try to find their way home under the tutelage of a mysterious, rumoured to be a Jedi-like teacher, played by Jude Law. Now we already know about a few tie-ins, but after the Ahsoka finale, I think I can see a few more. You see, I've always said that while Thrawn is the big bad, there's also Pelion, Hux, Rey Sloane, other Imperial remnants, and not just the Shadow Council, but I've always believed Dave Filoni was going to introduce a secondary threat, which started with Morgan Elsbeth, now deceased, Baylan, Shin, the Great Mothers, the latter being a catalyst for a larger issue the New Republic is going to have to face, and that is what we saw in Dathomir. Thrawn arrived in the known galaxy and delivered what he promised the Great Mothers, reviving the Night sibling population, the Dathomiri population, decades after the massacre at the hands of General Grievous. We still don't know what kind of creatures lie dormant in those coffins, the catacombs which house thousands and thousands of maybe clone Nightsisters, undead ones who may be parasitic and ghastly, and if they are, I can't imagine Dave created them just to ruin the Baron Dathomir. They probably serve a larger purpose. Their sole ambition is not just to live in peace, but also gain some sort of power, some kind of revenge. We spoke about this from the first time they appeared in Part 6. I have a feeling the creatures that the Night Mothers are probably going to revive, breathe life into with their magic, are going to be allegiant and serve as military to the new empire that Thrawn is trying to establish. And this too came as a surprise. I didn't expect Thrawn to be so allegiant to the concept of the Galactic Empire. He kept saying the line that we've heard Gideon say, "Long live the Empire." Now you might be saying, well wait a minute Meg, didn't Thrawn literally work his way up the Empire? Didn't he work for Palpatine and served with Vader and Tarkin? Well yes, but the reason he was allegiant to the Empire wasn't to help Palpatine reach his goals. We know from canon books that Thrawn only used the Empire to serve the Chiss ascendancy for a greater purpose, but it seems as though with the Mandoverse, with the Ahsoka series, they're going back to a Thrawn from Zahn's early work, the one that is less of an antagonist and more of a villain. But I do want to give Filoni the benefit of the doubt. There is still so much to come, and this could just be misleading, but what is clear is that what's taken place on Dathomir is going to have a significant impact on the galaxy, whatever these creatures might end up being. So how does this connect to Skeleton Crew? Because this threat is one the kids from Skeleton Crew might encounter, providing for an ironic double meaning to the title of the John Watts show, and even more enthralling, if you pardon the pun, is if the kids and Jude Law run into some other plans that Thrawn has set into motion. And part of this comes from something they still need to address. Since Thrawn kept in contact with the known galaxy all these years, both with Morgan Elsbeth and Captain Pellaeon, in regards to the latter, what did he have him do? What secret plans were set in motion? Thrawn is like a tree with many branches. He's a master tactician. I wouldn't take him at his word. There is more to this. Way, way more. Similar to what took place on Corellia, are there other factions of the Remnant just posing as New Republic, going under the radar, similar to Elia Kane from Mando? And this was a widespread problem. Is Thrawn, much like Palpatine during the days of the Clone Wars, acting as a master puppeteer from the shadows? What kind of resources does he have? What surprises is he keeping from everyone? Grand Admiral Thrawn is a strategist who prepares his adversarial war tactics as if they were part of a galactic chess game. And in my opinion, the way to show the audience the scope of it is to include it unsuspectingly in a show like Skeleton Crew. And because we know the Imperial Remnant are rivals to one another, Sloane and Hux have their own agenda. Show us the dangers out there in the galaxy. Show us the reality that the New Republic does not have anything under control. They have a defense council, a senate, they've got the big buildings, a rehabilitation program. They give the illusion that everything is under control, but the Remnant is powerful, working under the noses of the likes of Mon Mothma and Xiono, who will never admit such things are going on. Really make the audience question, is this Thrawn? Whose doing is this? I think Thrawn in particular is infiltrating the New Republic from within with those various aforementioned spies. There's got to be a trigger point that launches these kids into the unknown. I'm not sure if they're going to use Peridia, as I stated in a previous theory video, but they should definitely take the opportunity, if it all connects to the movie that's going to come up, to demonstrate what's really going on out there. And that's why I still believe a project like Rangers of the New Republic should not be scrapped. Have Carson Tavor be the lead. Show us some of his missions, expanding the world building, the lore, and giving the audience something different that doesn't always have to include a big character like Ahsoka. And I guess that's the biggest reason I'm so excited for a show like Skeleton Crew. And while there could be a cameo here and there, it's giving us a different perspective of this time period. Not focusing on Grogu or Ahsoka or Sabine, but a bunch of orphan kids from a small town. They go on an adventure, get in a spaceship, and we can see the galaxy through their eyes. Different star systems. And as I say, maybe Thrawn's reach. The show has definitely been a fun ride, one of Lucasfilm's stronger Disney Plus shows, and one that certainly merits more. But share your thoughts on everything we spoke about in the comments down below. Where do you think we go from here? What's next? And if you enjoyed this one, please be sure to give me a big fat thumbs up, subscribe if you're new, and I'll see you in the next video. May the Force be with you, always.